2024 brings with it a new slate of video games. It's hard to say for sure if 2024 will be able to live up to 2023, as the latter is going to be remembered the same as 1998 and 2007 as one of the best years for video games so far. The internet was abuzz when Zelda Tears of the Kingdom came out in May 2023 because no one could believe it would be topped. But then Baldur's Gate 3 struck. Between the two, fans are treated with games like Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16, Pikmin 4, and Remnant 2, while games like Sea of Stars, Blasphemous 2, Starfield, Spider-Man, and much more would continue to fill out the scene thereafter. 2023 has been a wild ride, but the 2024 calendar is continuing to form. Right now, there seem to be fewer confirmed release windows for major games in 2024 than in prior years, but that could change in an instant. There are still several major games that could release in 2024, but do not yet have a confirmed release window. Hello again, friends, and welcome back to Game Rant. I'm Casey, and these are the 10 most anticipated games of 2024. Up first, we've got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The second part of Square Enix's Final Fantasy VII Remake project, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth reimagines the world of Gaia after the first game focused entirely on the events of Midgar. This remake sequel reimagines and rewrites multiple elements of the original game, adding more depth to character development and adjusting the overall narrative structure. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will have more open-ended environments than Midgar, while keeping and slightly improving on the combat of the first remake. What it changes, what it keeps, and how much of the story Final Fantasy VII Rebirth covers are all big questions on fans' minds. And no doubt, many are excited for February to continue this adventure. Up next, we've got Princess Peach Showtime. Princess Peach Showtime is the first game with the princess as the main protagonist since 2005, meaning there's a lot of anticipation behind this title. In the same way, this title is based on a stage play similar to Super Mario Bros. 3, keeping up the long-standing belief that the entire franchise in-universe is a series of plays alive. In it, players will be able to take on several transformations as Princess Peach, including a sword fighter, detective, and a kung fu martial artist as they team up with her sidekick Stella to stop the main antagonist Wicked Great. Up next, we've got Dragon's Dogma 2. Fans have wanted a sequel to or remake of Dragon's Dogma for many years, with 2024 being the year Capcom finally fulfills these fan desires. Releasing 12 years after the original, Dragon's Dogma 2 features an Arisen as they get caught up in a conflict between two kingdoms. Dragon's Dogma 2 brings back the pawn system, defining each one of their main characters through returning, hybrid, and brand new vocations. Dragon's Dogma 2 also features a semi-open world that is 4 times bigger than the last game, emergent events akin to GTA 5, destructible environments, intensive and varied combat, and a dynamic day and night cycle. Up next, we've got Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong took the stage at the Game Awards 2023 to announce a faraway release date of August 20th, but it's held eyes since its gameplay trailer in 2021. Liza P has proven that there is an appeal for popular stories to get Souls-like adaptations, with NeoWiz and Round 8 working on DLC and a sequel to a dark fairy tale Souls-like world. And Black Myth Wukong developer Game Science is doing just that with Journey to the West. In this title, players take on the Destined One, a monkey-like person named Sun Wukong, as they fight their way through massive, powerful enemies in Souls-like gameplay. Up next, we've got Avowed. Avowed doesn't have a confirmed release date at this time, but one way or another, they've been confirmed to release in 2024. Avowed is Obsidian Entertainment's upcoming RPG, set in the same universe as its Pillars of Eternity games. Players take control of an Adir Empire envoy, who's investigating the living lands and a mystery plague ravaging them. Players will be able to use magic, melee, and firearms while building a character through dialogue and skill trees who is wholly unique to them. Essentially, Avowed is Obsidian's fantasy take on the Outer Worlds, and that's exciting for many fans. Up next, we've got Hades 2. Technically speaking, Hades 2 won't fully release in 2024, but fans will be able to play Hades 2 through early access in 2024. Hades 2 is a huge tradition break for developer Supergiant Games because while it has a few IPs under its belt, this would be its first ever sequel. Hades is one of the most iconic AAA-like indie games on the market, and it's without a doubt pushed Supergiant Games to do a sequel. That doesn't make it any less exciting, however. In it, players take control of the new protagonist Melanoi, who appears to be under the tutelage Hecate, goddess of witchcraft, necromancy, and crossroads. Fittingly, Melanoi will use her dark sorceress powers to take on the Titan of Time in what is sure to be packed with exciting gameplay. Up next, we've got Hellblade 2. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 has been a long time coming, given it was one of the first titles announced for the Xbox Series X and S, with developer Ninja Theory confirming its 2024 release window this past summer. Little is known about the story, but it continues the story of Senua and her journey, doing so through intensive hack-and-slash gameplay as well as highly detailed graphics and sound design. Up next, we've got Greedfall II. The original Greedfall came out in 2019 and was practically an honorary BioWare title. Telling a unique story set in the 18th century inspired fantasy world, Greedfall managed to carve out its own RPG identity while adapting much of what fans love about BioWare titles like Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Greedfall focused on a tale of colonialism and its destruction of peoples, including the oppressor, by seeing the protagonist travel from an old world continent to the new world, battling native people and other colonials in the process, and discovering why so many people of the old world are getting sick. Not much aside from one trailer and its release date being shown off for Greedfall II: The Dying World, but the beautiful symmetry in this prequel is that players will be taking the role of a native of the new world being taken to the old world. Up next, we've got Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door is often hailed as one of the best games in its sub-franchise, as well as one of the best games in the overarching franchise. However, being trapped on the GameCube has ensured that, for those without age-old copies, playing the game nowadays can be quite cost-prohibitive. Even so, it's hard to justify the outrageous prices for it on second-hand retailers like eBay. It's possible to get lucky and find it at a decent price, but fans have instead been wanting Nintendo to bring Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door to Switch for years. 2024 will be that year. Perhaps fans will get more information at a Nintendo Direct in February, the most likely time for it, but this game is easily one of the most anticipated of 2024. And finally, Star Wars Outlaws. Billed as the first ever open-world Star Wars game, Star Wars Outlaws sees players step into the shoes of scoundrel Kay Vess and her adorable companion Nyx. While the game is set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, an already rather busy period for the franchise, it focuses on something a lot of current properties do not: the seedy underbelly of the galaxy. Players will without a doubt contend with the Galactic Empire, but a lot of focus will be on the various criminal organizations of the galaxy, such as the Hutts. Blaster gameplay, speed bikes, ships, complex decisions, and more will all consume players' time as they attempt to pull off one of the biggest heists ever seen in the Outer Rim. And there you have it, folks, 10 of the most anticipated games of 2024. We at Game Rant hope that you enjoy the content that we put out and hope to catch you in the next video. Take care for now.